Well, hello and welcome to Marriage and Family Systems from Moody Bible Distance Learning. This is your fearless leader, Professor Jefferson Williams, and I am coming to you from the remote location of my office in sunny, warm Pontiac, Illinois. I want to welcome you to week 8. I told you we would blink our eyes and it would be week 8, and now it is upon us. So, one more week to finish strong. One more week to finish strong, okay? So what are we going to do this week? You're going to be reading Mark Madlock's Real World Parenting, and it's right here on my shelf, right here. And I wanted to tell you a quick story about Mark. Mark used to tour with a guy named Dawson McAllister, and way back in the day, my wife worked at a very large church when I was in seminary, and she was kind of in charge of the events at the church. And so she would bring Dawson in, and Joel Engel and Mark Madlock were part of that. And we went out to eat one night with Mark Madlock and his wife and all the rest of them. And I sat across from Mark, and we ended up just talking the whole night. It was really cool. He's an amazing guy. And about 8 years later, and I was in Illinois. That was in Mississippi. I'd moved to Illinois, and I took a group of kids to his Planet Wisdom tour. And afterwards, we went up, and they wanted to meet Mark. So these kids are meeting Mark, and he looks past them and sees me. This is 8 years later. I ate dinner with him one time, and he looks at me and goes, "Oh my gosh, Jeff Williams, how are you, man?" And comes over and hugs me. And then says, "How's Maxine?" What? Hey, what? You know how many people this guy meets? That is a gift. Okay, I don't have that gift. If you do, that's an amazing gift. But I tell that story to just impress on you how important people's names are. So there are people who tell me, I'm not good with names. Well, if you're in ministry, that's not acceptable. You need to get good with names. You need to figure out how to do it. And so what I've done at the school where I sub and when I was a youth pastor, I've given kids nicknames. And I don't know where they come from, but a couple of years, one example, Annika the Penguin. I have no idea where that came from, but she will always be Annika the Penguin to me. Another one was Penelope. I just gave her the name Penelope because I could never remember her name. And she loved it. She became Penelope. So just all of that to say, I'm rambling, all that to say is names are important. And Mark Madlock is an amazing guy. So you will enjoy reading his book. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a one-page, double-spaced reflection paper, not a summary. Just tell me something that stood out to you. One thing. What did you learn? What did Mark say that you went, I didn't know that, or I thought of that a different way, or whatever else. And you're going to be doing a discussion board on the pros and cons of different schooling options. And personally, we did, my son homeschooled the last 2 years, basically homeschooling himself because he's a computer genius kid and he was doing stuff we didn't even understand. We had another kid that we put into the Christian school for a year. That was a complete disaster. That didn't work at all. And we both have worked in public schools the entire time. And I have people tell me, oh, the terrible public schools. The public school I work in is fabulous. I'm surrounded by Christian teachers. The kids are awesome. I'm never worried. I'm not scared. I've never taught one thing I don't agree with ever in any of the classes I've ever subbed in. And so I really do think it comes down to a personal choice of the parents, and it comes down to the individual kid. There are just some kids that would not do well homeschooling, and there's some kids that actually need to be homeschooled, and there's some kids that need to be in a private school, and it's really parental choice, right? So you'll be writing about that. So now what does that bring us to? Well, it's week 8. So that brings us to the family research paper. Yay! And there was family ministry research paper, and there was much rejoicing. Yay! Now, I wanted to tell you that several of you have already turned it in. Way to go. Okay? Some of you have waited to the last minute. It's not too late. You only have 6 days left. So make sure that you proofread. Make sure that you grammarly check. Make sure you read it out loud. Make sure you have the proper citings and the proper resources. Make sure that it's an MLA formatting. Make sure that you've answered all the questions. Make sure, you see what I'm saying? Just read the prompt. Make sure you get everything in there. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I enjoy these tremendously. I really do. I enjoy these papers. So I'll enjoy reading them when they come in. So a couple of things for week 8. Some of you have already done your evaluation. I think you got an email from Stuart, the minion. Some of you have done your evaluation. Please do that before the class ends. It's very important to me. It's very important to Moody Distance Learning. We want to get better. I want to get better. Okay. Number 2, I will be at the Distance Learning Breakfast on May the 12th. I think it's Saturday, May the 12th. I will be at the breakfast, the Distance Learning Breakfast. So come find me. If you're going to be there, please come find me because I'm excited to meet you. Number 3, the class closes at midnight next Monday night, May 7th. Now, I've actually had a student a while ago in his evaluation say what a terrible professor I was to not accept anything after midnight at the end of the class. And that's their opinion, and I understand that, but you have to see it from my point of view. I'm teaching right now 3 very large classes and 3 direct studies. So when the class ends, I am grading like crazy that entire week. And I don't want to have to be kind of chasing after or trying to figure out if you've turned it in or not. So midnight, next Monday night, the class closes. The class ends. We're that close. We're that close to the finish line. Okay? All right. With that said, just a little thing. Some of you who are on Twitter and have been following the Paige Patterson, who's head of the Southern Baptist Convention, leaked audio of a question where he was asked about an abused woman, and he sent her home and told her to pray, and the guy beat the mess out of her and came back with black eyes, but it was okay because he got saved through that. I just wanted to tell you as a pastor and as a counselor, it is never okay for a woman to be abused in any way. And his first response in that situation should have been to call the police. Okay? If you are being abused, or if you know someone's being abused, we need to get them away from. We need to get her away from him, and we need to call the police. Okay? I don't know. I mean, God can work miracles and He can do all kinds of things, but we do not condone abuse ever. And I think I'm pretty safe at saying that is a Moody position as well. Okay, that's it. If you have any questions, comments, or prayer requests, please let me know. No question of the week because we're almost done. Okay? And I'm very proud of you. You're almost done. Some of you are like truly almost done. So let me know if you need anything. Onward and upwards.